Okay, this is Bonsai Anonymous. We're back. We've got bonsai soil here. And, you see it? That's what it looks like. We went to one of my really favorite places, Bushel Stop. It's a landscaping supply. They have lots of different kinds of rocks and things you use when you're landscaping, and everything they have is really high quality. They're the only ones around here that have dragonstone, as far as I know. Maybe there's someone else, but I don't know about it. Okay, so now that I have my bonsai soil, I ordered 2 of these with what do you call it? Sieves in the bottom, so that because what I've been told is we'd like to not have all the dust that naturally comes with all this stuff. This is a shefflera that I depotted in the previous video before I discovered that I didn't have any bonsai soil. So it's a small pot, but okay. So in essence, it's now repotted, but there's a little more to it than that. One thing you have to do. Well, you don't have to do anything, do you? No, not really. But one thing that you can do is, or you should do, I think, is do this around all the spots where you put this, and this bonsai soil. And the roots of this I think, are pretty robust. We'll see, of course, in a couple of weeks what happens. But as if you watch, you can see that it sinks. Once I do this a few times, it sinks. And of course, do we need that nail in there? A little iron is okay, that's a little much. I don't know how it got in there. Anyway, I can feel that I'm hitting the roots occasionally with this stick. And they tell you to do it underneath, so we really don't want to have there be air pockets where it'll get dry and the roots will rot. And root rot is something we don't like much. Okay, so. Right, so this is the front, and I haven't felt very good the last week actually, and not the last couple of days I felt better, but that's one reason why I don't make videos. I have some problems, and they crop up. Anyway, I'll probably talk about that at some point. So I have the Japanese characters for front written on the front of my bench here, and I'm going to write them on the front of this. Down, over, kind of an E, and that's one part of it. Next part's going to be harder to do, but I don't have a lot of room here and it's more complicated. Okay, so we go down and we do another one of those. Catch. These go down. And across. One down, and 2 across. So that's, I don't know how recognizable that is, but I don't care. It's for me anyway. And now I used to just do the F for front, and then it occurred to me that it could be a little more interesting than that. So I looked up how to say front in Japanese, and of course this probably means something different, a different kind of front. I don't know, like front me some money. I don't know. Anyway, this is my old brush. Well, he's been around a while. Very, very handy to have on this bench. Okay, so are we in there solid? Fairly. I don't know that it's any less solid than it was before. Although it sat in there for a long time. So, all right. So now we know the date that something happened to this plant. Right? And in all the things I've done in my life that need to be kept track of and schedule, why is it that when I do something like this, when I first start, it doesn't occur to me that I might want to keep a record of what the heck I'm doing, when it was, and especially since I can't remember anymore. That's a killer. All right, so what I've been doing And I got some more of this white artesian pebbles, but I really don't want to open one of those right now. So what I'm going to do is go down here in this box where I have a little bit of this black remaining. And I don't want to just cover it with it, I just want to have a little bit. Okay. And there's one nice little pink one in the back there, isn't that special? Okay, so he's been fertilized by 10-10-10. So he gets this. Now, trying to poke that through that dirt before would have been a real hard thing to do. So this dirt is looser. Now, does that mean that it's going to be great and everything's going to be perfect from now on? No, I unfortunately no. It means that I have to watch it, and not that there's much I can do. My perception of these is that in many cases, by the time it shows up that something's wrong, it's too late. I don't know why that is. It seems to be that way sometimes with animals too. I mean, they have to protect themselves when they're not well, so they fake it. And maybe plants do the same. I don't know. So this is shefflera. I used to call them shefflera, and of course that's not true. Shefflera repot 2 12 24. And if I can remember to put the sign in the back so you can see the plant. Well, that was interesting to me. And do I want to wire these? Not yet. No. I'm going to let some of these new little ones get going and see what happens. Okay, so that one's ready for putting out and watering. And then we got to go to this big boy here. This is a harder one. Let's put things where they need to go for a second. Get everything straight here. Start over. Okay, so we have our little fork here. So I think we're ready. This one, I don't know that I can do this one on, I don't know. Let's see, it's big. It's really big. Fortunately, I didn't water it, so I can pick it up. All right, so how do I know this is old? Well, take a look. It's not terrible soil. The water goes through it, but I think the roots are choking. And this one definitely choked. He choked. Okay, so what we need is a big, this might be big enough. Let's see. So what we have to do with this one is the same thing that we did with the other one. We're going to take it out of here. And the fact that it doesn't have a label means that I did it before I was even thinking about doing that. And that's why this is so old. But this, I think the reason this is done as well as it has is that the soil that is in it is Paul's bonsai soil, which is professionally made, let's say. And he knows what he's doing. I'm just experimenting, and half the time mine is a mess. Okay, so these things, I don't know. I'm going to try to get those out and replant them. They're pretty hardy, and they're controversial. I think it has to do with how you think a bonsai should look. And someone who's a purist, I think, would prefer, at least that's what I see anyway when I look. That's all I have. I can only look. I don't have a lot of other options. But when I look, traditionalists seem to just want the plants and the substrate, whatever it is. And in this case, this substrate is Paul's bonsai soil. And I'm going to go around it. I think the roots are pretty compacted. Let's see how it goes around this way. And then the next thing is to bamboo breaks. That's a rare thing. I wonder if this bamboo plant knew that it was going to be end up getting rich for this video. Okay, so now we're going to trim it a little bit. Let's see what we get out. And at a certain point, I'm just going to pull it up. So I'm trying to get it loose here. All right, that worked. Let's try this way. This is the side that I think is broken. All right. Next, can we lift the whole thing? Yes, we can. So we set it like this. Now let's look in here and see what we have. First thing you notice is that the soil is not super wet. It's pretty much right. So I'm not worried about that. What does worry me is no drainage covers, and they've got to be down here if I did this late enough to know that they needed to be there. And it's entirely possible that this was done at a time when I had no idea about that. And we won't find out the answer to it until we get the soil off of this. Yeah, it's not. 6. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these. 1, 2, 3. Wow, I got an acrobat squirrel over here. I haven't had any bird food for the last few days, so this morning I took and filled them all up, and the squirrel is just thinking it's so great. He was hanging upside down like a trapeze artist. Okay, so once again, this isn't going to dry out. It's still in the dirt. I haven't taken the dirt out, so we're going to put some drainage holes here with this stuff, which I think is better than whatever was there before, because I have moved to this recently. Something like earlier, and by recently I mean in the last year probably, but some of the earlier ones, I used some window screen and some things that really it's too thick. Some window screen that was really way too close. The holes were way too close together. So I hope you can see that. I'm just clipping the wire here. And I don't have my little watch on to monitor, so who knows if anything's in focus or if the machine's even running. Okay, so now I got thinner ones. Now, how do you do this if you're new? Why you do it, first of all, is that you don't want water to pool up in the bottom of your pot. It has to be a way for the water to get out. And so we put these holes in. Now, this pot is a, I'll do something else to it too, as long as I got it empty. I'm glad I thought of that. This pot is a plastic pot from China, I'm sure. And it comes with these 6 holes drilled, and then they, I don't want to say they assume, but if you want it to really be right, you have to put some screen over them. And it doesn't have to be any, the screens, I'm putting more screen than I need to. Can you see? Those are quite a bit bigger than the holes. My teacher, who does this for his living, uses just the size that it needs and nothing bigger. And so he's economizing. For instance, he might cut that into 4 rather than just 1. The problem that I have, it's not so much that I don't like economy, it's that I don't have very good fingers, and I don't do small things very well anymore. So I can handle this. Let's see, those aren't in there like rocks, no, but they're in there enough to hold until the dirt's on and the plant is back. So while I'm sitting here, I'm thinking about these 3, and how I would like them to be in this pot, because they are going to be separated. That's something I thought at one time that you don't separate things when you repot them. And so I was being what's the word? Super careful not to separate them. And then I watched a couple of videos where everybody separates everything. So, and it's hard for me to accept the fact that when I do certain things, there's a chance that I'll just kill the plant. That's hard to accept for me. I don't like killing things, and but so you might say, well, why did you pick this hobby then? It's because my ego tells me I'm not going to kill anything. I'm way above that level. I have a few left to go here. 3 more. Get all the way across. 2 and 3. So this stuff, I think you could probably buy it with the name bonsai screen in it, and it would probably cost a lot more than it does. I think it's needlecraft. What do you call it? Needlecraft screen. So crocheting or whatever, you go back and forth. I think that's what it is. And if you buy it that way at the dollar store, it's $1. And it's the same. And it might actually be the exact same thing, just with a different label. And there's certain hobbies that they know they got you when you commit to it. Bonsai is one. Oh, let's see. Wilderness camping. Survivalism. If you want to make some money, just take a regular tent and remarket it as a survival tent somehow. And I think you'll do better. A lot of people are frightened, I think. And for me, it doesn't matter, because if things go down, I won't be here very long, because I won't have my medicine. And I take 12 medicines or more a day. And if I occasionally forget to take them, I see what happens. And so I know that, in a way, I'm glad I'm as old as I am, because I'm not going to have to be a survivalist, probably, because I wouldn't be a very good one. And there are a few honest YouTube videos about this. Survivalism, you've got to be nuts. There's a reason that we don't live in caves anymore, and we don't have to. And so why would you want to go back to doing that and thinking that's an improvement over whatever? I don't know. We camped a lot when I was a kid, and when we got married, we bought a pop-up camper and used it a little bit. It was pretty fun, and really fun. Okay, so I've talked my way into finishing this, and that means I need to get a little bit of a drink from the cow UFO here. Crystal Light makes, I really ought to get some sponsors, because I have all these things that I like to talk about and how good they are. So anyway, Crystal Light, great. When that came along, I was so happy. A way to actually have a good tasting drink that's sweet, that isn't full of sugar. Okay, so since this isn't so, I think I'm still on the screen. Since this isn't so wet, it's damp, which is all right. But it's not so wet, so I can pull these things out quite easily. And I'm going to find out what I really put in the bottom of the pot when we get down there. Okay, so this, I don't know, it just doesn't look like it's dead to me. Maybe it is. I don't know. So we just go around here and a little more. Can you save every single root? No. And probably the more you save, the better. I don't know. Although I've seen some videos where the person takes them down to very little as far as roots go. Okay, so let's look at these roots. Can you see that some are lighter than others? And this one is doing great. It made it all the way over to this side of the pot. That's why it's so robust. I don't know where this one is. We'll see when we get there. This is a serious repotting, and I think I have enough bonsai soil to do it. I just need a bunch more. Let's see. Yeah, I gotta have at least a gallon of it. That'll work. Okay, so let's separate these a little bit. See if I can get you out. Okay, so now that doesn't look dead to me. So we're going to put this guy separate in his own little thing. Completely fresh bonsai soil and see what we get. Because he's, I don't know, he just doesn't seem to have any green. There's some green. Okay, there's a little green. And that's a good sign. Okay, so he's ready. And he's not going to dry out too much either. So let's keep going here. Look how big this thing is. When I started to work at FAU, that's when I think that's when I learned that you could grow avocado trees from the pits that you get, you know, when you eat avocado, when you make guacamole or whatever. And this is true. Okay, there's things on the internet, and I fall for all of them. Let me tell you a few before I get back to this. One is that you could grow pistachios, and first of all, they can't be the pistachios you buy. Can't be the pistachios you buy. Let's get rid of you at the store because they were already cooked, so to speak. So now what I haven't found is any of those. What do you call it? I haven't found any of those screens in here. Okay, so that's a piece of the original seed, believe it or not. Okay, so I'm going to try you like that. It's really pretty good. Okay, and we'll use these from each other. These could probably almost be put in the ground. You know, under here, I feel a little bit of dirt that's here's a little not quite so not quite so good. A little. The other thing that happens to me, and is that okay, good. I'm glad I found this. This is what I used at the beginning. Can you see? I hope you can. There's roots through it. It does. It lets the roots through, but it also packs up with dirt. Okay, so this, I'm going to tell you not to use this. I mean, it's cheap. It's just window screen, but in this particular case, it hasn't. I don't know that it's hurt the tree, but I think it's probably killed the field now because I had a bunch of that, and there's still some back there. And I wanted to use what I had, be economical and all that. And so some of these earlier ones have that in the bottom. And probably I'll find out that what I'm using now is not that great, and then I'll have to do something else, and I'll find some of those with that stuff in the bottom. This is just okay. So, all right. If I do too much more, I think I'm gonna hurt it. Okay. So. This is all the dirt, okay? And where this goes is in the used dirt pile, because it is not totally useless. It works great for these plants. So I use this for seedlings. This is organic material. Okay, so I feel good about doing that. All right, so let's put you down here for the moment. Get you out of the way. Wow, that's impressive. Usually I change before I come out here, but not today. Okay, so here we have our pot, and 3 of them, I believe, I will put back in. This other one's getting a special treatment. And now you, like that way. And this, like that, and you. Okay. So that's the design. It's like a trio thing here. There it is. Okay, so now we have to prepare this, and this is the bonsai soil I just made, and it could probably be sifted a little bit more. Okay, it could be. I did run it through the sifter. So it's not as dusty as it could have been. Now, why don't we want dust? Well, dust turns into mud, and mud turns into things that clog the holes. Okay, so do I want these up higher? What do I do? Let's give them a chance to put the roots downward. I just saw Peter Chen say, I'm going to use a deeper pot because this one is leaning over the side. So I need to change the angle a little. Okay, so that's pretty much what I want to do. Okay, see this? It's not stable exactly, but it's not going to be too bad once I get it filled in. And this is one that I'll probably have to be careful when I do the little thing with the that's a pistachio shell. Now, where that came from, I make my own charcoal, and let's see, there's a piece of charcoal I made. It crumbles up, so forth. I make my own charcoal. I heard that it's a good idea to include charcoal in your bonsai soil. Why? I don't know. I don't remember, and that's sad. But if I had to guess, I would say it's because charcoal is a filtering agent. It filters impurities. And really, in this case, what it does is it absorbs impurities. Okay? That's why they had charcoal filters on cigarettes, so they weren't as harsh. I don't know if that actually worked, but that's what they said. Okay, so I have to save enough left to do that other one. Although, if I had to, I could certainly make more. Okay, so, this isn't that heavy. Not too heavy. So what do we need to do? First of all, I need to fertilize it. And where's my... Where is it? Okay. I'm using it. This is 12-10-10, and 10-10-10 is okay. This has iron in it too, 2% iron, and what I've observed is that some of my plants kind of get yellow, and they get yellow because, at least what I've been told, they're short on iron. And okay, so So that's appealing to me, that mixture of colors. It's kind of bland, but it's appealing. And what we can do with it to make it a little more interesting is it's old dirt. What we'll do is get some more of this black that I have left. I don't have that much. And what I just do with it is put it on top for a little mix. And occasionally I get a little color on this thing too. So I like that too. So here is what I would say a kind of a hybrid version. And here, let me do this while we're talking. There's just one species in here. I don't have the artillery plants in here. But I have done something with the substrate. I made it a little less boring. Now, what it says, at least to me, this is less boring. Let's move it over here. I read that they tell you to not let the pot overwhelm the plant as far as its impact. Okay? And I certainly have let that happen in some cases, as I made pots with colored marbles and all sorts of crazy things. I like it, but it's not traditional. I have a friend who's a great jazz guitar player. That's why I know him. He went to school at FAU, and I don't need to say his name. Not that it's not important, but I don't really say ex-students' names on here, if I can avoid it. He told me that his uncle in Tokyo had one of the better sushi places in Tokyo, and that's saying something. That's like saying one of the best barbecue places in Kansas City or something. And he told me about that. We ate a lot of sushi together, and he was my teaching assistant and later became on the faculty. So anyway, he said that in Japan they're very touchy about how you eat sushi and how you act and so forth, especially in places like his grandpa's, like his uncle's, where it's high range. So this came up because I like to mix wasabi, ginger, and eel sauce, all mixed up to make a flavor. I like it. And my friend told me that if I did that at his uncle's place in Japan, they would take me out in the alley and beat me up. And he might have been joking, or maybe not. He didn't joke that much about this kind of thing. So why am I talking about this? Well, because this is not a traditional way to do this. And maybe traditionalists in Japan would be put off by it. Okay. Not all of them. Peter Chan is great. He says experiment. There's no wrong answer. Give it a shot. He's really encouraging, rather than some of the guys on. And I keep talking about YouTube. That's what I'm learning about this YouTube. And some of them are so strict. Do not do this. Never do this. And granted, it is valuable to know that what the tradition is. But I'm just not interested in that. Kind of the philosophy of it I like. Okay, so now I notice that I put it in backwards. This is really the back of the pot. The front has Chinese characters on it. Okay. So am I going to take it out and redo it? Are you joking? No. But I will do this because I do like it. This is metallic acrylic paint, and what I do with it is I put a little bit on here on my finger, when I smear it over whatever's on the front of the pot. And it kind of cover it with this gold. I'll turn it around in a second so you can see how it looks. And, to me, it just makes a little difference. Not much. But something a little less boring. I mean, they put this design on here. Okay, so after I've smeared it, it looks like that. I hope you can see that. And then, after a while, I just take off everything that's kind of not in the grooves. And if there's a few smears left over, that's okay. This is supposed to make it look a little more weathered, or I guess be around a while, and I like it. And that now, okay. Now that's my little attempt at making it a little more festive. Okay, so now I know that it's fertilized, okay? And I know when it happened, when I did this, so I can write it on one of my little tags and keep track of it. Just like I did it for one a minute ago. What are these? These are avocados. Repotted. 2, 12, 24. And you go in the back. Okay, that's 2 down. We have a problem boy over here. You really don't want to oh, now we have this. It has what I would call a few live roots. So I'm hoping that I can put it in something here and get it to grow. I'm a little low on pots. But I do have these. These are of course old soda bottles, and I put the bottom things in, as you can see. Move this over here. I hope you can see that. I'll be looking at this in a minute and finding out if it's way out of focus or whatever. So this is going to let me see how the roots are doing. So I put you in here. We're going to trim you a little. There's the scissors. There it is. Trim you a little, get you in a little better. And what I'm trying to cut off is mostly long brown ones. And keep the white ones. Okay. So I think that might go in there now. Well, that's a live root, that's why I'm not cutting it. And I don't know how many live roots this has. Okay, so put you in there. Is it going to go in? It will go in. Okay. All right. So what do we do with him? We just put dirt in and see what we end up with. So we're going to put him right at the bottom. We're going to put him a little closer like this. Okay, so what I said was that these pots that are made out of soda bottles are good for this kind of thing. And I'll tell you what they're good for. And you see that here's an air pocket. Lots of air pockets in there. And that's what we're trying to avoid. Okay, so this pot is going to help us do that. It makes me wonder what the heck's going on with all my other pots. They're probably worse. Okay, so then we get out our skewer and we find those spots. And we go in and we the deal here down in there and get a little more back there. And it's probably the same in the center. So just like before, that looks like one down there. But I think in some cases the roots are stopping these. But it's feeling better. Okay, go. All right. So once either it's going to make it or it's not, and we will be able to see the roots. That's the reason to do this. And now you might say, well, they're not supposed to be seen. They're supposed to be underground. I know. But this particular one kind of died. Okay? So now we have to say, okay, you're fertilized. That just means you're fertilized. Everybody's going to get fertilized again March. Let's see here. December 23rd. I think February. So December to January is one. January to February is two. And February, okay, March. That's when I need to do it. March 23rd. Okay, so now let's put the information on here. You can use a pencil sharpener out here. Really good. And what else? Something else, I can't think. I think a young blonde assistant would be nice. And by young, I mean 25 to 35. And well versed in bonsai, that would be great. Okay, so this is trying to save avocado 2/20, 2/12/24. Okay, so you go back in here, and we'll even this black here, this one can be done. So we can pretend like you're okay. And you might be. I really think you might be. Because I didn't see totally dead roots on them like that. Okay. So there's our that's in the way now. That's our output for the day. We repotted a shefflera and 4 avocados, and trying to save an avocado here. And we're got to get to where we can water them all. Right now, there's not really a way to do it. But this, yeah, some of this stuff I'm going to put in there because it's a good spot for it. Okay. All right, that's enough for today. We're going to sign out now. Bonsai Anonymous out.